Well, hello everyone. We are on Pomodoro number 3, in which I am doing a voiceover because I'm not that very bright and completely managed to miss the sound. So I have no clue what I'm saying over here because, of course, this was not scripted, and I have no clue what I'm talking about. But probably it has something to do with the fact that we want to add, start looking into space. I'm pretty sure I'm saying something so clever on the video. I wonder what I'm talking about, especially because I'm not moving the cursor or anything like that. I have. Oh well. Look at the hand movement. I even look like I know what I'm talking about. There we go. What we are doing? Oh, calculate the score. Oh, I remember. I think I remember about this. The fact that calculate because we're using a reduce. So looking at the past, you have to pass information to the future, so you know what you are dealing with. Which is why I added on the previous Pomodoro. I added the total score. It's kind of a preemptive move. I know with reduce, when you want to pass that information, you are always gonna have some kind of a structure that is sending the information back. And in the case of Clojure, maps are what you are using all the time. Maps everywhere. Come on, start typing. Come on. It seems that I like to point to the video, to the camera often. Okay, what am I doing over there? Okay, I'm extracting the scoring outside. If I remember correctly, there are refactoring options on LSP, but I haven't used that LSP the Clojure LSP that much. Okay, good change. Instead of item frame, I like to have names that make sense within the domain. An item is a bad name. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, everything broken. Ah, I see my of course. What I was trying to do didn't make any sense whatsoever. Of course, you have to to sum both values. Interesting. That's the second time that is happening. And that's so that returns a single value. It will okay, so I'm checking where I have done wrong, where I have gone wrong over here. By the way, I will have now I will change, instead of changing frame back to item, I will have changed the name of the parameter on calculate. Yeah. Okay, so we know that works. That's supposed to work. So the question that I'm asking myself is, why is it failing on the oh yeah. I tend to be relatively carefree at the beginning with names, more or less something that makes sense, and then I change later on. As it happens to be, I had the same name added, calculate score and calculate score, but because of the way that Cider works, it wasn't throwing me an error. It should have thrown an error, or it should have made some kind of it should have given some kind of warning, just because I am renaming something. So yeah, if I have been running, I am using depths over here, CLI Clojure depths. So if I have run the test through CLI depths, I will have seen that issue with calculate frame, calculate score. Okay, now we are checking for strikes. I do not know. I still haven't investigated why the test run all the tests in the project wasn't working correctly. Maybe I will do at some point after doing this whole voiceover stuff. Later on in one of the other episodes, I'm using the test on the namespace, which it was working, so I don't have to run each dev test separately. I wonder if I do here, because most of the times I prefer to do the test first. Sometimes I manage to create the function first just because easy to do. That's fine. What I do in those cases is even if I do the test first, I will always run the test with a ground value, just to check that that the test is supposed to do what it is supposed to be doing. I wonder if I'm doing it over here. Second roll over here is not really needed, but when you are reading the test, I think it makes it slightly clearer. Okay, at least for the spell, I'm doing it the right way. First the test, then the actual code. Of course, since I forgot to change the name of the function on the test, which I will discover soon. This is one of these cases in which I'm not following strictly, just adding doing a couple of jumps at the same time. Because probably you will want it to start with the normal rolls, then the spare, then the strike, and that gives you the whole setup. The thing with having done the exercise before, even if it was in a different language, is I know what is supposed to happen, yeah? And in any case, that's not it wasn't the focus of this pomodoro. And that is the don't repeat yourself stuff. I know that I'm gonna have to use it on each spare, so I didn't want to have it in two different places because it's still the same thing. Okay, everything buzzing now. I wonder what is gonna be next. I haven't seen the full episode yet. Because of course usually I see the full episode when I'm doing revising the captions. just to make sure that the captions more or less follow what I'm saying, because, well, between my accent and the fact that it's a machine doing the captions, sometimes you have very strange conversions. Sometimes I do get lost. I have just put previous spare, and then on the map I add previous strike. Ah, that one is correct. Now I fixed the stuff. I don't know if I mentioned it. Oh no, I mentioned it on the refactoring episode. So there will be a refactoring episode after the logic is finished, in which I very quickly talk about. I didn't remember at the time the name. Nubank Matchers, Nubank, the Brazilian bank. This library that allows you to do a bit more funky stuff with matchings for a test, because that having to add the previous spare false and whatnot is just annoying. The fact that I have to go back into previous tests that I don't want to change, but I have to change just because of the way that I'm using the equal comparison. Yeah, I could have done something else, like extracting from the result, extracting the information. In general, you don't want your test to be brittle. You don't want to have to change your test every time that you change the code. That is bad design, which is what is happening right now on that left hand side here. That is bad. You can extract from, as I say, extract from the map the result that you want, so you can compare just that, or you can add the matches, because with the matches you can do comparisons of partial maps. Should have to use refactoring rather than code actions. Yeah, over here I was wondering about what I said before about running the project, the test for the whole project. I didn't understand why it wasn't working. It could be something we do with my depth setup. I traditionally have used far more Leiningen rather than Clojure depths. In fact, all my production code has been on Leiningen. Talking about names, now I'm gonna realize that I have already defined a calculate frame somewhere else. Though I love the fact that I'm already extracting the stuff. One of the things that I like about that I like to do when coding is that I want to see the steps happening. Yeah, I want to see a description of the steps of what I am doing, and then inside, then I can see the actual value. Not necessarily the most performant code, but to start with, I don't care about performance. I care about making sure that the logic actually works. Later on, once I have all my tests, then I make sure that my code is working. Then I can look at having changing based on performance. Run your profiling and see where it can be fixed. I think I put at some point a tweet about it. Like most of my work on the last 8 years has been backend APIs, and by far the most important the most important part of performance is trying to remove HTTP calls, because there is it's orders of magnitude slower than just some of the possible improvements that you can do on the code itself. Yeah, like using inlining functions and whatnot. Having removing HTTP calls is a bigger win. Adding caching, a big win, which is part of removing HTTP calls, really. Sometimes it's just the algorithm. Okay, what I'm doing over here? Oh, misspelling. And then I managed to change the wrong name, the wrong one. Yeah, of course you have to pass now that we have to look at the previous state, then we have to pass it around to do calculations. Yeah. Okay, what do we have over here? Okay, all passing. So the basics of calculating spares is in place now. What I'm doing over here? Okay. Now what that we have done it for spares, let's gonna do it for strikes. Although I can see that there is not much time left on this pomodoro, so probably something that I will implement on the next video, which I will need to do a voiceover as well. That will teach me to do sound checks before I start doing anything. Mic check, here we go again, or something like that. To be honest, because the way of the way that I have done a spare bonus, adding the strike bonus is relatively easy. Yeah, although there are complications as we know with the whole strike situation. Yeah. And again, having to change previous tests just because of the. That's what I say. I should have just made the effort of adding the matches. And now I'm thinking, I'm tired. Let's gonna stop with this. Next one. Hey. Sorry. I will see you on the next Pomodoro. Enjoy, people.